I think it's critical to share what you know with the kids. After all, the world that is now changing so much it's their world. They're growing into a place that currently appears to be in a state of decline. On our watch, on my watch, I have seen the loss of half the coral reefs, more or less half of the mangroves and seagrass meadows. There's a lot of bad news about the ocean, about the air, about the fabric of life. The kids of today, in some ways, are the luckiest kids ever, despite all that bad news.
I am hoping to see maybe some octopuses. I know last time my class went snorkeling, Miss Nocera came back and she said that they saw some, so that would be really cool to see. It feels like such a dream to be able to have the opportunity because, you know, I've never been able to have an opportunity like this, so, you know, it's very inspirational and it kind of pushes me to, like, keep doing things like this, I guess.
I'm really excited to be here with Sylvia and swim and see some fish. It's inspiring as another female because her being one of the first females in this field is just, it shows how much we could do.
When I'm in the ocean, I feel very at peace, I'm very calm. You know, it feels nice and happy. Just, it's very beautiful, so it's a nice place to be at.
I feel free, kind of like I'm floating basically, because the water all around me is just so, it's just so cool. It's always free.
The good news is now we know, and they are armed with a superpower of knowing what I could not know when I was a kid. No one could. No one had seen Earth from space. No one had been to the deepest part of the ocean, confirming that the ocean is alive from the surface to the greatest depths. And it's the ocean that shapes climate, that shapes Earth as a habitable place in a universe that's really not very friendly. Try setting up housekeeping on the moon or on Mars. A lot of people are trying to do that. And maybe it'll be possible someday, but first we have to make peace with Earth so that we can reverse this decline into recovery. We have whatever time we've got, but the next 10 years are really probably the most important in all of the history of humankind, because we have the best chance we've ever had to understand what it takes to find a place for ourselves within the natural living systems that make Earth habitable. We've had a habit that continues, even now, of consuming nature, consuming the Earth to foster our prosperity. But now with close to 8 billion of us, we've consumed so much of the Earth, so much of the wildlife, the birds, the trees. We continue to clear-cut old growth forests, that is, systems that have persisted for millennia. I've heard redwood trees, those giants that may be 2,000 years old, as ambassadors from the past. It's true with the ocean. Some corals are more than 2,000 years old in the deep sea. There was a time on my watch when we couldn't get to the deepest parts of the ocean. Now, there's no place on Earth that we cannot access. So instead of being protected by their inaccessibility, now all parts of the planet are vulnerable to this habit that we have of taking, instead of understanding how do we fit in. You know, the history of life on Earth is mostly about cooperation, about living together. The symbiosis that you see all over, certainly in the ocean. And we have a chance to learn what works. We have the knowledge. It's just a matter of recognizing and looking at the evidence, and anybody can do this. Kids are really good at asking questions, not just who, what, where, why, but why not? And how do you know? And what can we do? And Everybody needs to do that and realize, you know, this is the greatest opportunity we've ever had, the greatest time of exploration, the time when we know the magnitude of our ignorance, but we know enough to act on what we now have and do this, you know, restoring. And with turtles, there's some evidence. You can see there are more turtles today than when I was a kid. And why? Because around the world, a lot of people have stopped killing them. We started protecting their nests. And the Loggerhead Research Center is just a wonderful example of what people are doing to give back and to reverse this decline. As go the turtles, so go we. We can learn so much from them. And by protecting them, we're protecting ourselves. We're making, if they can prosper in the ocean, it's a good sign that the world is getting better. It's a privilege to splash around this morning with some kids who are armed with the superpower of knowing what could not be known when I was their age. I can't imagine. If I had known what they now know, just by being alive, by being 21st century human beings, what decisions might I have made? What would all of us have made if we had been armed with the knowledge that they have when the world was a more intact place than it is today? I have to believe that we would have made different choices. We would not find ourselves with an ocean that is becoming more acid, the atmosphere that is now has so much carbon dioxide and methane and nitrous oxide from our actions that the planet is truly warming. Now we know. Imagine if we didn't know. They know. And they're ready to do what it takes, especially to get to the grown-ups and say, come on, look at the world through our eyes. Just go for it. Really, this is the best time ever to be a kid. I know, it sounds with all the bad news, come on, it's terrible, but no, it isn't. This is the best time because you know what could not be known before. We know what to do. And a lot of people are being slow to react. They're complacent. They're set in their ways. They have habits that were born of a time, of a planet that was at a different place. The planet has changed, and somehow a lot of people don't take that seriously. So kids are really ambassadors for the future. I think of turtles as ambassadors from the past, with hundreds of millions of years of history. Humans are newcomers, and the kids are especially newcomers on this ancient planet, with the opportunity to be the real heroes for all of humans in the future and all of the living world by taking actions that can reverse the decline. So bravo, I'm really pleased to be a part of the action and be with the kids this morning.
I saw a stingray. I've never seen a stingray before outside of like SeaWorld, so that was pretty cool. I would definitely love to snorkel again. It was a very great experience that I absolutely adored it. If you haven't gone snorkeling, I really recommend it. It was great. It was amazing.
What I thought about the snorkeling trip was that it was a really fun experience, and I saw many animals and species that I didn't think I'd see in there, and it's definitely fun. I'd do it again. I was surprised by the fact that I saw a pufferfish, and I didn't expect to see that in here.
Thanks for having me here. I really enjoy communing with the turtles and with the wild and crazy turtle people who are really making a difference. You can do something about that, you know, just share the view.